My son-in-law raised his glass and smirked across the dinner table. In front of the entire family, he laughed and said, "So what is it like being a loser?" The room exploded with laughter. My daughter looked away. My son chuckled. Even people I had helped for years joined in. They thought I would stay quiet like always. They thought I would smile and absorb the humiliation. But that night was different. I looked him directly in the eyes and calmly said, "What is it like knowing this loser will not be paying your bills anymore?" The laughter stopped instantly. Forks frozen midair. Faces turned pale. And what happened next exposed a family secret nobody was prepared for. For most of my life I worked hard and stayed silent. I was never the loudest person in the room. I never demanded attention. I spent 35 years building a successful business from nothing. I worked weekends. I missed vacations. I sacrificed comfort so my family could have opportunities I never had. My children grew up in a beautiful home. They attended good schools. They never worried about food or rent. Every birthday was celebrated. Every emergency was handled. Every dream they had received support from me. As the years passed, I became known as the dependable one. Whenever someone needed money, they called me. Whenever a bill appeared unexpectedly, they called me. Whenever life became difficult, they expected me to solve the problem. At first, I did not mind. They were family. Then something slowly changed. The gratitude disappeared. The respect disappeared. The expectations remained. My daughter married a man named Ryan. At first, he seemed charming. He spoke confidently and knew how to impress people. But over time, I noticed something troubling. He loved spending money he did not earn. New cars appeared every few years. Expensive vacations filled social media. Designer clothes became normal. Yet somehow there was always another financial emergency. And somehow I was always expected to help. I paid for unexpected repairs. I helped with mortgage payments. I covered business losses. I even paid medical bills when insurance fell short. Every time I helped, I heard the same promise: "This is the last time." It never was. Years passed and the requests continued. Then came the family dinner that changed everything. The evening started normally. Everyone gathered around a large dining table. Food was served. Stories were shared. Laughter filled the room. I sat quietly listening. Then the conversation turned toward success. Ryan began bragging about investments he claimed were making him wealthy. He spoke about luxury lifestyles and financial freedom. Several relatives nodded with admiration. Then he looked directly at me. A grin spread across his face. "So tell us, what is it like being a loser?" The room erupted with laughter. Some people laughed because they thought it was a joke. Others laughed because they wanted Ryan's approval. A few laughed because they genuinely believed it. I remained calm. Ryan continued, "You worked your whole life and still spend your days sitting around. Sounds like a pretty boring life to me." More laughter followed. I looked around the table. Not one person defended me. Not one person reminded him who had paid for half the things they enjoyed. Not one person spoke up. That was the moment I realized something painful. They no longer saw me as family. They saw me as an unlimited bank account. I took a slow sip of water. Then I smiled. "What is it like knowing this loser will not be paying your bills anymore?" Silence. Complete silence. The change was immediate. Ryan's smile vanished. My daughter's eyes widened. Several relatives exchanged nervous glances. Nobody laughed. Nobody moved. The confidence drained from Ryan's face. "What do you mean?" I placed my napkin on the table. "I mean exactly what I said. Effective immediately, my financial support ends. You are adults. It is time to take responsibility for your own lives." The shock was visible. My daughter spoke first. "Dad, surely you are not serious." I looked at her calmly. "I have never been more serious." One relative attempted to change the subject. Another nervously laughed. But everyone understood. The free ride was over. Ryan tried to recover. "Come on. It was just a joke." I nodded. "And this is just a decision." His face turned red. For years he had believed there would never be consequences. Now reality was sitting directly across from him. The dinner ended awkwardly. People left earlier than expected. Phone calls started arriving the next morning. Some were angry. Some were emotional. Some attempted guilt. Others made promises. I listened politely. My answer remained unchanged. No. For the first time in decades, I chose myself. Weeks passed. Something remarkable happened. The people who claimed they could not survive suddenly found solutions. Extra jobs appeared. Budgets were created. Expenses were reduced. Miraculously, the same adults who depended on me discovered independence. Meanwhile, my own life improved. The stress disappeared. The constant financial pressure vanished. I traveled more. I spent time with friends. I pursued hobbies I had ignored for years. Most importantly, I regained my self-respect. Months later, Ryan requested a private meeting. We met at a small coffee shop. He looked different, more humble, less arrogant. He stared at his coffee before speaking. I owe you an apology. I remained silent. He continued, I spent years judging you without understanding your sacrifices. I thought success meant showing off. I thought money came easily. I was wrong. For the first time I saw genuine regret. He explained how difficult life became after losing financial support. But he also admitted something important. The challenge forced him to grow. He found better work. He learned discipline. He became more responsible. Ironically, the lesson he needed most came from hearing the word no. Before leaving, he said something I will never forget. You were never the loser at that table. I was. I smiled. Not because I wanted revenge. Not because I wanted validation. But because growth had finally replaced entitlement. Respect is not measured by how much money you give people. Respect is measured by how people treat you when they no longer need something from you. The night my family laughed at me felt painful in the moment, but it revealed a truth I needed to see. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stop rescuing people and allow them to stand on their own. The moment I stopped funding disrespect was the moment I started valuing myself again.